Hey everybody, and welcome to Freaky Friday. I am here in our last 11 past 11 for today to remind you guys that there are some really freaky things that you are going to do in your business and your life. And sometimes the freakiest of things can actually be the biggest motivator that you have. And I have experienced this personally a lot. Hey Eddie, hey Charlene, and hey anybody else who is joining us for this call or on the replay. So freakiness that has happened to me when I have leapt before I was ready. So I've had these clients, and I love the clients that come in and they have done all of the research. They have done all the research about what their condition is, what they need for it, some of the lifestyle changes that they need to make, some of the foods that they need to eat, all that kind of stuff. And they've got this tome of information. They even have action steps that they need to take, and they already know it, but they're not taking it. I've even got clients that, they've done so much research about a particular piece of electronic equipment or exercise equipment. You know, those ones that make you jiggle and things like that. They've gone and done all of this research, and they have gone and even bought the thing, and it's sitting in the corner. And they can tell you absolutely everything about what this thing does to a human body, but they've had it there sitting in the corner for a month, and they haven't done anything with it. And they've come in and asked all about their weight loss, all about how to get on board with their cholesterol going down, all about how to start moving their bodies. And you can know absolutely everything about something, but unless you leap before you're ready to act, you're going to come up with every excuse and every plan and every piece of research and continue to research until you do nothing about it. And so this is the thing that we see all the time with people trying to get on treadmills and things like that. You can know all of the things about it, but until you leap and you actually take the action that you need to take, you're not going to get the result you're looking for. Has anyone else got any clients like that? Where you're like, okay, how about we do it then? All right, here's the supplements or here's the diet that we've discussed already, and here's how to take it. And then they come back and they haven't done the thing that they needed to do. It's leap before you're ready. It's take the supplements now. It's get on the treadmill and do the thing that you need to do. And for me, every time I've done this in my business, it's changed everything for me. Vast majority of the time, it's one of the freakiest feelings that I've ever had. And it's very similar to jumping out of a plane. If you guys have ever jumped out of a plane or flown a helicopter for that matter. So the thing that happens is when you're holding on to the side, they quickly get your attention away from what you're actually experiencing. They hold your head back so that you don't flick your head as you jump out of the plane. And you're sitting there holding on to everything, and then they go 1, 2, and they make you leap before you're ready. Your brain is never going to be ready for something that's outside your comfort zone, because what happens to your brain is it goes, we're not a person that's ready for that. And it will keep you nice and safe inside your comfort zone, trying to keep you the same person you always have been, because outside of there is unsafe. And so if I'm not a person who's ready for that, or I'm not a person who's abundant, I'm not a person who experiences that kind of level of success, I'm not a person who does, then your brain is going to go, nope, not ready for that. Nope, not ready for that. And then we'll find lots of evidence to show why we're not ready. We're not ready because of this. I'm not ready because of that. I'm not ready because, and all of that happens, and then we don't ever get ready for it. In my business, I've done this heaps of times. My first time was when I was signing up for B school at the time, and I was freaking out. It was the most expensive thing I had no idea where I was going to get these payments for this program. I had none. I knew I could get the first payment, and I knew I could press the button, and it was 11:58 at night, just before the midnight cutoff, and I pressed that button, and what I did was it gave me motivation, because I leapt before I was ready. It gave me motivation to do absolutely everything in that course to be able to pay for the next round. I loved that, and it was one of the most extraordinary experiences for me, and that's why I've made it part of the Naturepreneur journey, that you get the opportunity to learn everything in the first month so that you can pay for the next round. Now, I also did this when I was trying to expand my clinic. If you've ever first started in a really small clinic and then you wanted to go somewhere else, I was started in this little abandoned building, 3rd floor up, in basically an office space that didn't have any reception area or anything like that. But I knew I needed to be out by myself. Hey, Liz. Hey, anyone else who's joining. I knew I needed to be out by myself. I knew I didn't want to necessarily have something at home. And I leapt before I was ready. And I had to find the money every month to pay for this little office space. So I had to do absolutely everything it took, everything in my power, to find the money to pay for the office space. And every time it's been more motivating for me to have leapt before I was ready, because then I'm there doing everything I can to move into a space that I'm not really ready for, I'm not quite used to. But if I sit back and I don't have that motivation, then there isn't anything I need to do. Really, there's not a lot that I need to do. I'm like, oh well, I'll just occasionally do this. Hey, Mel. So when I've leapt before I was ready, there was always a desire in front of me that was more pleasurable than the pain that I was in. And so I could easily quickly move from the pain I was in into the thing that I didn't know for certain would turn out. I didn't know for certain was going to be useful in, but in that moment, it moved me away from the pain of not having any clients, and it moved me forward to being motivated to actually create something different from my practice. So I moved from that little office space to a bigger office space. And then I quickly moved into, within the space of 6 months, after I started doing some work on how my mind was working around things, how I was manifesting things, how I was clearly taking strategic places for my business, I moved into a multimodality practice. I leapt way before I was ready, because in my mind's eye, I had a reception area and then I had my clinic space. The space that I saw in my mind's eye was actually half of what was available to me when I went and saw this amazing shopfront that we ended up having. And there was an extra practitioner room, there was a dispensary room, and there was a workshop room. And I leapt before I was ready. I had to find a way to put the first month down. He actually gave me the first month for free in the end. And then I was able to put the first month down. And then I did absolutely everything I could, employed all of the information that I had to actually create the momentum to keep me going. So this has worked time and time again for me around leaping before I'm ready, because it creates a motivation in front of me rather than the pain that I'm feeling behind me and then feeling okay with the pain because it's not outside my comfort zone and it's quite cozy. I've lived with this pain, or I've lived with this uncomfortability of not having enough clients. I've lived with the uncomfortability of getting little bills in, but having something in front of me to motivate me that I wanted to go towards has changed everything for me when it comes to my clinic space, when it comes to the business mentoring that I've experienced, when it comes to some of the conferences that I've been to overseas and here in Australia, but particularly overseas, because trying to find the money for that stuff, oh my gosh, it's the scariest thing. It literally feels like I'm jumping out of a plane every time. I just found the money for this conference that I'm going to next month, and I didn't just find it. I was so propelled to go to this event that I have employed all of my ideas on how I can be at this event. How can I organize my kids? How can I organize what's happening in my business? How can I organize all of the things that are needed to move me forward to a place to understand and to be surrounded by these extraordinary entrepreneurs and be in a really different headspace and a really different environment, because I'm really big on that kind of stuff. But what is it in your life right now that you're like, I really want this to change, but I'll do it when I'm ready. I'll do it when I've just got enough money. I'll do it when everything's settled down at home. I'll do it when But usually those I'll do it whens are the reason that you're going for that thing in the first place. Well, that's what I've found. So the other big one that I had was I went over to New York for a massive conference. I told you guys yesterday about the trip to New York I did for the mastermind, but I also did another trip to New York way before I thought I was ready. I had just scraped myself out of being in a whole bunch of debt, and I would have had to put this whole event on a credit card. But what my gorgeous husband told me at the time was, I felt it in here that I felt that this was the thing for me at that time. I felt and resonated with this event over in New York. And I knew there'd be a whole bunch of female entrepreneurs. I didn't think I was there yet. I didn't think I was there yet. And I didn't think, after just scraping through and paying off this credit card debt, that I could go into credit card debt again. And what my husband said to me was, what return on investment are you going to get from that investment? If you put this on the credit card, are you going to go over there and learn how to make that amount of money back and then make it back, say within the first 4 weeks of coming back? If you learn something over there that is going to turn around that $2,000 investment that you make and turn it into a $4,000 amazing reward, if you employ that stuff? And I was like so motivated. So that's exactly what I did. Flew over to New York, went to this 2-day event, was surrounded by extraordinary women. We even ended up in the middle of a hurricane, so I actually got stuck in an amazing hotel, sharing rooms with extraordinary women and having these conversations I never thought I would have, that were bigger than I could have even imagined for myself. And being surrounded by people like that, in a mindset like that, just changes everything. And I had more than $4,000 ideas. I had $40,000 worth of ideas. Came back, employed those, and I had tripled our staff. We had tripled the amount of people that we were seeing. We had new workshops, online and offline offerings, things like that that just weren't even in my scope of what I was thinking about. But freaking out about going overseas when my kids were so young at the time, when my practice was so young, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. But every time I have done that, every time I have resonated with that and leapt before I was ready and really felt motivated to get the reward on the investment, the return on the investment, I wish I could give that to everybody. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. What are you feeling freaky about at the moment that you are, if you switched it around in your head, if you reframed it, and if you leapt before you were ready, that there's something on the other side? And I couldn't have possibly, while I was sitting there just paying off my credit card and just feeling ready, now that I was ready to make more money, I couldn't have possibly have thought the conversations that I had, or like I couldn't have imagined $40,000 worth of ideas. Let alone I had never been to New York before. I couldn't imagine what that was like when I was sitting there trying to think, should I go or should I not go? I just knew that there was a level of resonance for me that I knew this needed to be part of my journey. And then I had to have a leap of faith. So literally leaping before I was ready. I had to have a leap of faith. And then I had to be motivated enough to take the action on the things that I was doing to actually get the reward for it. So I guess they're my actionable tips for today. All right, Mel says, okay, meeting with the Nat today about sharing her room. It's an out from the stagnation that I'm in at the moment, but there are lots of buts. Ooh, I like it, Mel. Who else has got lots of buts? Apart from the main butt. So we're always going to have butts. We're humans. That's exactly what we're all about, especially when we want to stay, our psyche and our ego wants to keep us nice and safe. And if safe is wonderful for different periods of your life. If you want to stay safe and stable, awesome. If you want to expand and grow and create something different, then you're going to have to do something different. So, all right. Hey, Amy. Hey, Liz. Awesome. So I guess they're my biggest tips. Leap before you're ready. Have a little faith. You never know what's on the other side of it. And then do exactly what you need to do to get the return on investment. And if this is helpful to you or somebody else, please share it. And if you've missed it, today is the last day to sign up for the Naturpreneur Journey, tammyguest.com/naturpreneur-journey. And it is a 12-month deep dive that you might feel not ready for. But it's very likely, if you're in practice and if you're not getting the results that you're looking for in practice as a business to create the life that you want to create out of it and to connect with other practitioners, it's the one. And leaping before you're ready is going to be a really, really big, challenging thing. And it's really scary. And on the other side of it, I've had the experience of bringing over 200 practitioners through this process. And this time around, you guys get the bonus of being in Bali and at NatX to propel you along as well for free. Like, for free. Whenever I think about it and I think about how much work I had to do to get my business up and running and how much it cost, like I had to travel all the way to New York to do some of the stuff that I get to share with you guys on a practitioner basis rather than some random person telling me about business over in New York. And to be able to do this online, surrounded by practitioners, not like lawyers and accountants and all these other people, and then to be able to come to a retreat as well as go to a conference that's completely aligned. I wish I had it back then. So I created it for you guys. And hopefully, if it resonates with you, then I would love to have you on board. Go and check it out. It shuts at midnight tonight. That's it. It's very likely we're not going to offer it as a 12-month program again with all of the inclusions. You've got basically an all-access pass. And it shuts at midnight tonight. I'm going to have a Q&A session this afternoon at 5 p.m. right here in the hub to answer any questions if you guys are looking for questions and answers. And we've got some alumni that are going to be answering questions for you in the group as well. So hopefully this has been beneficial to you. Leap before you're ready. Go and do that thing that you are meant to be here for, that resonates with you, that's going to stretch you and expand you and bring you out to your fullest potential. All right, have an amazing day. Bye.